The Boeing 737 MAX had a number of issues from the factory that caused some crashes and a lot of deaths. So they made a new plane to accommodate more people, better fuel efficiency, and they also had a simplified flight deck. So the cockpit was heavily modified to be basic. It reduced the amount of work they had to do just because it should be better. However, the pilots that were trained for this didn't get training. They were just given what they already knew and flew. And there was also very few alarms for issues throughout the plane. The Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, or MCAS, was designed for the plane to accommodate the new engines. These new engines sat higher and more forward on the plane, so they caused the plane to pitch up. And that is a problem for manual flight, because then you're too high. And this system, the MCAS system, keeps the plane level. And this only works when autopilot's off, or if it's too steep, or if the flaps are up. And this goes into the training that they were lacking. They didn't even know the system was there, which caused issues. So during this process of the plane taking off, the left and right angle of attack sensors were not matching. They were significantly different. They should be very close. There was also heavy acceleration that was too much. They kept pretty much 94% throttle when they should have backed off. This over-acceleration caused their flaps and trim to not work properly, which in turn made them crash. They missed a bunch of warnings as well that popped up on their displays just due to too much fatigue, alarm fatigue. There are some preconditions for unsafe acts. There's a technological environment, which is basically they didn't know how to fly it, how to use the equipment in there and whatnot. There's also physical and mental limitations, such as they didn't know what they were doing, let alone how to use it. They weren't given training. There are some human factor issues as well, and it's pretty much the three goals: safety, performance, and satisfaction. Safety obviously wasn't safe. People died. The performance decreases with that because now the planes can't fly and whatnot, and there's no satisfaction because everyone's upset with Boeing. And there are some fixes we can do, or they can do. Better training for the pilots. The manufacturer, Boeing, needs to disclose to the pilots, FAA, whoever's involved about this system when they put it in, the MCAS system. And then they need better alerts on the screens, and they need to be prioritized. For instance, the one that crashed in Ethiopia, they had a bunch of alerts, but they were too busy focusing on one thing when these other alerts should have been prioritized.